Damon, final player. Round out this team strong.
I have a very tough decision. I'm in between two people right now.
I can tell you that it's probably the same two that I'm waiting to see which one falls in my lap.
I don't think so. I don't think these two people are really like on the radar, but I don't really want to pick Cole. Like he's like the ace. Like not a lot talked about him right now. And like
I mean,
At some point,
you
we
pick
have to
Judge
pick
1-1.
Cole.
What do you mean?
I know, but like yeah, but Judge is having a historic season.
Cole's having a pretty damn good year. I think a lot of people are writing him off.
I'm not writing Garrett Cole off. I'm saying he's an ace. He's doing a
Make your
damn
pick.
good job.
Make your pick.
Whatever. All right. All right, I made my decision. So for this
Eager to hear it.
This probably isn't like this guy isn't having like statistically the most amazing season, but I think he has been a huge part of how this season has gone so far and how this team is built and has allowed this team to win as much as they have because of his versatility, and that's DJ LeMahieu.
I like that.
He's a
I'm
guy.
mad that you picked him, but I'm really glad someone picked him.
I want him to get some recognition. That's why I picked him. Like he's playing second base. He's playing
Gold Glove
third base. He's playing some first base as well, and he's allowing guys like Josh Donaldson, IKF, and Glaber to play the games they need to play, get the rest they need to get rest, and yeah, he's just a big part of how this lineup has been able to move around and has allowed Aaron Boone to make these lineup changes and make these position changes and really has just allowed this team to kind of thrive. And also, he's a good hitter, so that also helps. And I'm playing Gold Glove in the field. So, yeah, I think outside of the stats, he's just been a massive part of allowing Aaron Boone to construct the lineup the way he wants to and allowing us to win baseball games because of that.
Can't argue with that.
I wasn't sold on the first pick, but I think the way you went about it, I think that's it's a good pick. Because the flexibility, the flexibility that he provides Boone, and getting everybody in the lineup every single day. It's actually, and I guess that's another thing. Credit to Boone for being able to. We don't give a lot of credit to Boone in seemingly in these past few years, but I think Boone's had a damn good year this year. Hard to argue with that when you have 50 wins.
Yeah.
And
Without DJ LeMahieu, Hicks and Gallo are playing every night.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the ripple effect of DJ LeMahieu and his versatility you can't beat that. So
I'm happy with it, Damon. I'm glad you picked him.
Yeah, I was planning on picking him for the exact same reason, and I'm very glad you did, because I was going to also be deciding between him and somebody else.
Yeah.
Hopefully Chandler doesn't take right now, because I'll be sad.
Man, see, now here I'm at a crossroads, because Garrett Cole needs to be picked. That needs to happen. But, when I'm thinking of X Factor.
just because he has to be picked doesn't mean you need to pick him.
I'm not going to.
Okay. All right. I think I know who you're gonna pick.
I think it's criminal he hasn't been picked.
Can I tell you who I think you're gonna pick?
Yeah, Miguel Andujar.
It's not
I
Miguel
ain't
Andujar.
taking Mike King.
I think you're gonna take Sevy.
I am going to take Sevy.
Yeah.
And you know why I'm going to
You're a
take
big
Sevy?
Sevy guy.
I am a big Sevy guy, but you know I'm not taking him just because he's returned to form, because he's still looking at obviously, it's relatively speaking, our staff's just absolutely fucking dominant, but it's not so much that he's, this Cy Young candidate right now, and you know what, he probably is somewhere on the odds that's relatively high up, but he's giving us length in a season that we were talking about before the year. Is he going to be a reliever? He's giving us 7 innings pretty routinely. Like, look at his game log. Take out last game, which is an outlier. But even last game, and his ERA is a whopping 3.26, but it's inflated a little bit like last game. 5 innings. He's got 5 earned runs. He left with 2. He left with 3, which were bullet home runs, which, you know what? He throws 100 miles an hour. It's going to happen. He gave up 2 hits. They were both home runs. Walked a couple guys.
Hit 103 too. Don't forget about that.
Supposedly. I don't
think
know.
the radar gun was broken.
Yeah, the radar gun was a little cooked. But, I mean, look at his few starts. 5 earned runs, whatever. That was the Miguel Castro. Come in, walk the fucking moon, and then give up a grand slam. Yes, they're charged him, but whatever. But the game before that, even last game, 9 strikeouts, he had 4 walks, but he gave up 3 hits. The game before that, 6 innings, 7 hits, which not great, but he got through it. He gave up 1 run, struck out 10, walked 1. 7 innings, 1 hit, 10 Ks, 1 walk. I mean, 7 innings.
The biggest thing to me is the innings.
Yeah, he's throwing 6-7 innings. He hasn't pitched in 2 years.
He has 66 innings pitched on the season, and that's just a lot of innings for a guy that we didn't even think. I mean,
like I said, what did we set his over under at 100?
I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but
he and Tyone both were around there. I think we had them combined for like 250 or something.
And Tyone, has just. It's crazy. I think the innings thing is and that goes for across the entire starting rotation. Is the craziest thing to me, and it's crazy because it's a big flip the script for what this team has done in the past, and these are the same pitchers. Like these pitchers couldn't get out of the 5th inning. They couldn't.
Exactly.
And now they're going minimum 7, it seems, every single night.
And you know what? Here's the thing too that I'm gonna say that kind of slams it home for me. We were talking about, obviously it's up to this point, but going forward, this is a guy that hasn't pitched since 2018. He's thrown like 11 innings since then coming into this season. He's giving us this length. There's rust there still, but the stuff is there. You have games like yesterday, right, where he walks 4 batters, but I don't think it's crazy to think by the end of the year that he's fully back to dominant, borderline ace level pitching. He's shaking off rust after not throwing for 3 years. This is like the equivalent of Jameson Taillon doing what he's doing now last year when he comes back. And not the total equivalent because, the guy obviously has battled everything you can ever fucking imagine. I'm not comparing it in that sense. I'm just saying as far as time away from the game, Severino hadn't pitched since 2018. He's out. There's going to be rust inevitably, which is why he walks people. He loses his command a little bit. You can't get in a groove if you don't pitch for 3 years. No shit. He's coming out here and he's doing this. And I think that a full season under Matt Blake, I think a full season around the people that he's with, Garrett Cole, you see him out there every game talking to the starters, Jordan Montgomery, Michael King, who learned from Corey Kluber. You've got all these guys that work together every single day. And they're, giving each other tips. They're doing everything that they can possibly do. And that all goes back to the locker room stuff that we talk about day in and day out here. I don't think it's crazy to think that he's back to borderline ace. He's that 1B that we were always talking about when we signed Cole. Now we have 2 aces. I genuinely believe by October that will be the case. And I think that this start right here is everything we could have asked for and then more.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, hard to argue with. I look at his Baseball Savant page, and it's a lot of red. That's good to see. The sabermetrics. Yeah. They've always agreed with Sevy, but it's nice to see that he's back to his dominant ways. It seems, and I agree. I don't think that it's crazy to say that he can be just that bona fide stud pitcher that's gonna go out there and it's gonna be curtains for you. It's like, oh God, Sevy's pitching today. That's not a good thing to wake up to as an opposing fan in a playoff series.
I think if we rolled in
and think about that too, like Game 3.
Yeah. If we rolled into the ALCS to play the Astros right now, and Sevy trotted out Game 2 or Game 3, either way, I would feel very confident. There would not be 1 ounce of hesitation in me watching him take that mound. I would feel just as confident as maybe not Cole, but I'd have just as much confidence in him as anybody else in that staff not named Garrett Cole.
And when you talk about X factors like we were talking about before, we've mentioned it on his roll call throughout the season. He is like the definition of it because you get a guy, like I said before, I don't know what day he'll be pitching, and we're going to have this conversation towards the playoffs because you don't do a 5-man rotation in the playoffs. Somebody's going to get thrown into the pen. We don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be probably Montgomery. If the season ends today, Montgomery would be in the pen. And don't they usually do a 3-man rotation? At least
it depends in a short
in the number of series.
Depends how good your rotation is. That's the thing.
But you want to get Cole to start. You want to get Cole to turn over.
It also depends on where you are in the series. If you're up 3-0, you're not going to force Cole out on 3 days rest. It's just it's a number.
You use
of
a lot more pitchers anyway. So
we're not going to be in a position in the playoffs where we're going to want to have a 4-person rotation, or at least maybe even a 5, because like who's the odd man out? Do you really want? Maybe the rest is a factor. Maybe you have Cole go every 4, but then you have somebody else rotate in here and there, and it's the playoff series change, whatever, and who knows about health. But this is a way different Yankees team than we've seen going to the playoffs before, because it's usually, wow, I really wish we could have Cole go out 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
but now it's different.
Well, to your point,
it's a good problem to have.
Who gets to pitch today?
To your point about the X factor, though, it's such a swing factor with Sevy because he has his floor is reliever. Just another guy that didn't really cut it. Injuries derailed him, but his ceiling is an ace. And we were expecting somewhere in between. But he's hitting closer to that ace, and that is fucking huge. I mean, that is huge.
If you think about it, too, like, what he's doing this season is way ahead of schedule. So, like, I'm excited to see what it turns out to be at the end of the year. I think if I was a betting man and I bet on Underdog Fantasy, and I would, and I talked about it in our chalkboard group chat, gambling group chat I would probably take Luis Severino to, like, if we're talking like
we're buying tickets to that game.
I'd buy him on TickPick. I don't like fees. So I'm just saying, long-winded way of saying, if I was going to take and I don't think this is the case, but like if you're taking something with good odds, like dark horse Cy Young, he's not going to win it, but like Severino's probably got some juicy odds on him. And I think the way that he's progressing, he's way ahead of schedule. Like I was saying, like he's going to finish way higher in the Cy Young vote than I think anybody even would think that he would. Like right now at this point in the season, he's kind of an afterthought when you think about other pitchers in the league. And I think he's going to burst on the scene because of the way he's progressed so far. And he's only going to get better, assuming he doesn't get hurt, which obviously
he's 50-1 right now.
50-1. I think he finishes like towards the end of the season, like when things are wrapping up around September area. I think you're going to see him at probably like 25-1. I think he's going to split that in half, and I think that's I don't know. That's not a crazy thing to say, but I'm just saying I think he's going to keep progressing. That was a long way of saying I think he's going to keep progressing, and the best 10? Is yet to come. He could.
It wouldn't shock me.
I don't know.
Look at how well he's doing and how much he's exceeding expectations right now, and he's still 50-1. I mean, he's not going to be top 10. He's having a fantastic year.
Voters don't care about the odds.
No, I was just saying that he's going to finish better respected across the league in terms of how dominant he is than he is currently getting respect for right now. So, okay. So I guess it's my pick.
Chris Sale, 250-1.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not my pick.
Yeah,
that's
back
cool.
down, man.
I'm eager.
Yep. Does it have to be a person, Chandler?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, anything that you think has been a swing factor this year, the only thing that is off limits is being like, fielders.
Cool. I'm going to, Rel, I hope you wanted Cole because somebody has to say Cole. But, and I was going to say Cole.
Are you taking Cole?
Top of my head? No, I'm taking
Yes, I want Cole.
Mustache.
I respect that. I'm totally cool with that.
Yep. Just the mustache, no explanation needed.
The magic of the mustache, just the mustache, whatever you want, because
it's a movement.
We need a thing. You need a thing to make it. We need a thing. It seems like it's happening. Gallows growing it in. Looked like
Gallows looks nice.
Lickies is in now.
Oh yeah.
Marwin, Nestor, Cart. Maybe not everybody does it, but if it's a thing, I love it. And just for what it stands for, at the very least.
Yeah.
It's not the mustache, it's what it stands for.
Yeah.
Licky's going to come in and start throwing 98 miles an hour.
It's the man behind the stash. But the stash is, it's a big factor.
I love that.
I'd say it's an X factor.
I would call it a factor.
I agree, but
I'm totally okay with mustache. That plays.
Yeah, but to be clear, you just took like facial hair over Garrett Cole. And
well,
I stand by it.
You weren't gonna say it, Rella, and it needed to be said.
That's true. That know your fellow podcasters and way to get the content out there, Murphy.